My name is Sofia Ortega, I'm 31, and I've spent most of my life quietly drifting behind the velvet curtain of the Ortega legacy, the kind of old-money California family that never raises their voice, only their lawyers. While my sister Priscilla became the heir apparent, charming, ruthless, and fluent in 5 languages, I was the accident they forgot to clean up, the art school dropout who married a man the family never fully trusted. At every gathering, I was the one pouring wine, not giving toasts. I've learned to live with it. The whispered pity, the condescending smiles, the feeling that I was merely tolerated. But even I never imagined that Grandma Ramona's 85th birthday would become the night my husband would vanish into a storm of secrets, and I'd be left clutching a phone, with only one option: call the police. The champagne flutes shimmered like glass daggers in the late sunlight. Strings played something elegant but cold. I was adjusting Grandma's shawl when Gabriel leaned in behind me. His lips barely brushed my ear. "Get your bag," he whispered. "We're leaving in 60 seconds. Call the police if I'm not back in 10. He didn't wait for my reaction. I turned. He was already halfway across the patio, weaving through guests, giving that practiced, distracted smile that said everything was fine when it wasn't. I froze. "Smile," Grandma murmured beside me, still clapping politely for the quartet. Her fingers brushed mine. "Tonight's about appearances, darling. We don't want people talking." People were always talking. I grabbed my clutch, walked toward the wine station, pretending to scan for vintage labels. The lawn was crawling with family I barely knew, cousins in matching beige, an uncle who flew in from Buenos Aires, and Priscilla, in white silk, standing like a general beneath the garden arch. Gabriel had disappeared. One step. Another. I cut through the back hallway of the house. A laugh echoed behind me. One of those too loud, drunk ones. I opened the coat closet, slipped my shoes off, and tapped the floorboard. "Hello. There." Our emergency bag was inside. He'd packed it? When? How long had he been planning to? Footsteps. Mail. Heavy. Coming from the West Wing. I held my breath. The hallway flickered. Bad wiring. I stepped into the butler's pantry, just before the footsteps passed by. He wasn't coming back. I grabbed the keys from my bag and made a beeline to the driveway. The black Lexus was parked under the fig tree, driver's side ajar. Empty. But the ignition was still warm. I sat. Locked the doors. My breath fogged the window. Tried calling him. Voicemail. Message 1. "Where are you?" Message 2. "Gabriel, this isn't funny." By the third, my hands were shaking. Then my phone vibrated. Unknown number. One attachment. No text. It was a video. Grainy. Filmed in the dim garage under the Ortega estate. Gabriel was tied to a chair. Gagged. A hand entered the frame, gloved, pale, and backhanded him. Hard. He looked straight into the lens and mouthed one word: "Run." The video cut to static. My ears buzzed. My mouth tasted metal. A quote flashed in my mind. Gabriel used to say it when we watched the news together. "Every empire rots from the inside. But families? They bury the bones under marble." I dialed 911, then paused. Behind me, down the gravel path, I saw her. Priscilla. Not waving. Not smiling. Just watching. As if she already knew the police were coming. "If he doesn't come back, I'll burn this entire house down to find him." The call wouldn't go through. No signal. One bar. Then none. I tried again. Switched hands. Opened the window. Still nothing. The house stood behind me like a grave. Lit up. Buzzing. Laughing. As if nothing had happened. I was sitting in the Lexus, engine off, door locked. Gabriel's phone was gone. His bag was gone. But mine was here. Neatly placed. Like he'd set a trap and walked straight into it. Then the video buzzed in. Unknown number. No message. Just a file. I pressed play. The screen lit up with a sick green tint. A garage. Cement floor. Dim light swinging above. Gabriel. Tied. Wrists behind his back. Blood trickling from his lip. Eyes locked on the camera. He wasn't panicked. He was focused, like a man who knew what was coming. He looked straight into the lens. Mouths, one word.
Run.
A sharp cut, black screen. Then a voice, synthetic, warbled, distorted. You were warned. I dropped the phone. My breath caught somewhere between lungs and throat. A scream tried to rise, but all I could manage was a whisper. Jesus. A memory slammed back into me like cold water. Gabriel 2 nights ago, tapping his phone against the bedside lamp, whispering to someone. No, not yet. She doesn't know. I had assumed it was a client. I was wrong. A quote from college looped through my head like static. We think we're choosing our lives, but really, we're just chasing the least painful version of the truth. I opened the glove box. Nothing. Then, the back seat shifted. I turned. Empty. Paranoia. Or maybe not. I stepped out of the car. Cool air hit my face like glass. Sea salt. A whisper of fog. The garage entrance sat to the side of the house, half hidden behind a hedge. The same one from the video. I walked.
Fast.
Heart pounding in my throat. Gravel shifting under heels. Door unlocked. Inside smelled of oil and mildew. The old Ortega garage was twice the size of my apartment in Oakland.
And twice as dark.
I pulled my phone flashlight. Beam flickered. Then held steady. No sign of him. But there was something on the floor.
Tape.
Frayed rope. A small, dark smear leading toward the basement door. Still wet. A whisper behind me. I spun. No one. I moved toward the staircase down to the sub-basement, where Grandpa Ortega kept his collection of forgotten things. Antique safes. Broken typewriters. Stacks of cashmere and secrets. The light above flickered. Someone had been here. Recently. I made it halfway down before my phone buzzed again. This time, a message. Go to Elisa. She has the rest. No name. No number. Burned contact. But I knew exactly who it meant. Elisa Tran. Gabriel's college ex. Now a corporate lawyer with the moral compass of a vulture. She was at the party. I'd seen her earlier. Red dress, fake laugh, always 10 steps ahead. She was the kind of woman who left marks on reputations, on bank accounts, on men like Gabriel. I turned back up the stairs.
Cut to ballroom.
Priscilla center stage, giving some speech about legacy and resilience. She used words like dynasty and unbreakable. I scanned the crowd. Elisa stood near the back, sipping wine. Alone. I reached her. Sofia, she said, like a snake learning to say hello. Gabriel sent me to you, I whispered. Her expression didn't change. Come with me. We moved down the hall, into the side study. She closed the door, drew the curtain.
He said you had something, I said.
Elisa didn't blink. He told me to hold it in case he couldn't. Hold what? She handed me a manila folder.
Thick.
Heavy. Inside, printouts. Legal filings.
Deeds.
Digital transfer logs. My stomach dropped. Gabriel had uncovered something. A network of shell companies linked to Ortega Holdings. Money moved offshore. Land deeds swapped under aliases. One signature kept repeating. Priscilla's. Then I saw my own name. On a property I never bought.
Co-signed.
Why would he do this? I asked. Voice cracked. Elisa looked at me.
Cold.
Because he trusted you not to fall apart. The door creaked behind us. Both of us turned. It wasn't Priscilla. It was Grandma Ramona. She stepped into the room like a ghost, no smile. No cane. Just pure steel. Some stones are better left unturned, Sofia, she said. Unless you're prepared for what crawls out from beneath. They didn't just take my husband, they took someone who knew too much. The folder trembled in my hands.
Printed ink.
Legal jargon. Transfer logs, notarized deeds, and enough financial shell games to choke a senator. My name was there. Signed under a property I'd never seen. Co-owner of a parcel in Monterey. Backdated signatures. Perfect forgery. Gabriel had tried to protect me. By staying quiet. By preparing for war. I looked up. Grandma Ramona was still watching me. That stare, velvet-wrapped steel. The kind that makes you want to apologize even if you've done nothing wrong. Elisa, I said, without looking at her. Burn it all. If I don't come back, you won't need to say it twice. I stepped past Ramona. She didn't stop me, didn't flinch, just said, curiosity is only noble until it unravels everything.
Cut scene.
Back hallway. My heels echoed against the tile. I pushed past framed portraits of Ortega men with eyes too dark, smiles too thin. One of them had Gabriel's chin. Another had my nightmares. I reached the cellar door.
Locked.
The kind of lock that whispers you were never supposed to find this. I reached into my clutch. Gabriel had taught me how to pick a basic pin tumbler. Never thought I'd use it.
Click.
The door creaked open. A stairwell descended into pitch black. Concrete walls. No light switch. I pulled my phone flashlight. Stepped down. The air grew colder. Moldy. Electric. The cellar looked like a war bunker. Shelves of canned food, blackout curtains, a generator. And something else. A second door. Hidden behind crates of vintage wine. I dragged them aside. Fingers raw. Nails chipped. The second door wasn't locked. It was bolted. On the inside. Someone had been down here. Recently. When I unlatched it, the scent changed. Not mold.
Not dust.
Smoke. And blood. I stepped in. The room was lined with surveillance monitors.
Old. Analog.
VHS. The exact angle as the video on my phone. The camera had been in our own house. Gabriel hadn't sent that video. Someone else had. From inside. A sharp noise behind me. I spun. A man stood in the doorway.
Thin.
Hollow-cheeked. Left arm wrapped in gauze. Beard grown in patches. Eyes familiar. He stepped into the light. My knees buckled. Raoul. He didn't nod. Just stared. You're dead. You. They said you drowned. That's what they wanted you to believe. I swallowed.
Hard.
You disappeared 10 years ago. They didn't want a whistleblower. They wanted a martyr. Quiet. Buried. Forgotten. Raoul moved to the monitors. Inserted another tape. Hit play. Footage rolled. An old family gathering. Grandma younger. Priscilla, maybe 19. They were arguing with someone off camera. Then the camera panned. To Gabriel. At 20. Holding a file. Holding back fury. They looped him in early, Raoul said. He tried to walk away. But once you know the numbers, they own your silence. Gabriel had been involved for years. My stomach turned. Why didn't he tell me? Because he knew you'd dig. And digging gets people hurt. Cut to footsteps overhead. Someone was in the house. I turned to Raoul. Who else knows you're alive? He paused. I think we're about to find out. The monitors flickered. One cut to black. Another went static. Then one clicked on, showing the cellar hallway. A figure stood there. Face hidden. Holding a red canister.
Gasoline.
Raoul grabbed my arm. We have to go.
Now. We ran.
Back through the narrow stairs.
Up.
Choking on smoke. My heels snapped. I kicked them off. Raoul pushed open the kitchen door. Flames licked the wallpaper. The house was burning from the inside. They're not covering up a crime. Raoul shouted over the alarms. They're erasing a witness. We dove through the patio doors. Smashed into the garden. Alarms screamed. Guests scattered. Screams.
Coughs.
The fire was spreading. I turned to Raoul. What the hell do they know that's worth killing for? He looked at me. Smoke in his eyes. You were never supposed to find this, Sofia. Smoke clawed at my throat. I pushed Raoul forward through the side hedges. Sprinklers erupted. Too late. The flames had already found the velvet curtains inside. Sirens howled in the distance, but no one came close. Ortega money bought privacy and silence. We crouched behind the statue of Saint Lucia, hidden from the chaos. Raoul coughed blood. His eyes didn't blink. I need the rest, I snapped. All of it. He reached inside his coat. pulled a flash drive from a waterproof pouch around his neck. This is everything. The weight in my hand felt heavier than gold. It held the rot beneath generations. Offshore accounts. Signed death warrants disguised as acquisitions. Audio recordings. Even Grandma Ramona, whispering to someone in Catalan. No more leaks. Not this time. I stared at Raoul. Why now? Why give it to me? Because you still think the truth means something, he said. You haven't drowned in the family yet.
Cut scene.
I made my way back through the outer walkway of the estate. The birthday guests had been ushered to the north wing. Emergency exits wide open. Security was curiously absent. No one asked questions. I slipped inside the library. Priscilla stood by the window, alone, staring at the fire. I thought you'd run, she said without turning. You thought wrong. She smiled.
Barely.
Her reflection in the glass looked older, sharper, colder. You never really fit, Sofia. Not because you weren't capable, but because you kept asking why. I stepped closer. The flash drive was a tight fist in my pocket. And you, I said. How much was enough? Priscilla turned. Enough to make sure no one like you ever gets to rewrite history. We stared each other down.
Cut scene.
Conference room. Half lit. Elisa Tran was already waiting. I encrypted everything, she said, sliding a laptop toward me. Don't ask how. Just know that the feds will want it. I don't want the feds, I whispered. I want the family to see it burn. Raoul entered, silent. Elisa stared. Her jaw tightened. You're supposed to be dead. So are morals, he replied. I uploaded the data. The files unlocked one by one. One name appeared more than any other. Gabriel Montoya. Over 70 transactions tied to Shellcore. 2 matching signatures, his and Priscilla's. I stared at the screen. Time stilled. My ribs clenched like fists. He knew. He was in it. For years. The man I loved, the one who held my face like it was sacred, had walked me into this pit with both eyes open. Raoul exhaled. He tried to get out. He thought marrying you would give him cover. He used me. He chose you. There's a difference. I stood. My ears rang. I need to see him.
Cut scene.
Midtown Santa Cruz. An apartment above a nail salon. Elisa's safe house. I knocked 3 times. The door cracked open. A figure pulled me in, locked it, arms wrapped around me. Gabriel. Battered. Blood on his temple. But alive. I didn't mean for this, he whispered. I shoved him back. But you let it happen. I was trying to protect you. You signed my name on a property I never touched. He paused. That kept you from being a target. No. I snapped. It made me a pawn. A quote from my father came rushing back, bitter and cruel. Some people marry for love. Others marry to not drown alone. I slapped him. Silence. Then, they're making a move tomorrow, he said. The board. They're rewriting the trust. Locking you out. Raoul's proof won't matter unless it goes public. My heart pounded. Where? The ballroom.
Noon.
Investors.
Press.
Lawyers. It'll all look clean. Legal. Unless I blew it up from inside. I turned to Raoul. You said you had audio? He nodded. I pulled the drive. I'm going to the ballroom, I said. And I'm bringing hell with me. If legacy is worth killing for, let's see how many bodies it takes to bury it. I walked into the ballroom like it was a battlefield. Polished floors. Crystal chandeliers. Smiling lies dressed in couture. The Ortega board sat at the head table. Investors flanked both sides. Lawyers, trustees, brokers, sharks in suits waiting for blood. And Priscilla? Center stage. Hair slicked. Pearl earrings. Holding a glass of something expensive, but her eyes were fixed on me like a sniper's scope. She didn't blink. Sofia. She purred into the microphone, voice velvet-coated steel. You made it. Just in time. I forced a smile. Wouldn't miss the funeral.
Cut scene.
A waiter passed by. I slipped him a thumb drive. Elisa's contact. He nodded.
Moved.
My heart raced like it wanted out of my chest. Priscilla began her speech. About legacy.
Growth.
Family unity. But behind her, the screen flickered. Static. Then, a clip played.
No intro.
No warning. Just Grandma Ramona. In her office. Leaning in close to a man off-screen. Make sure the land transfer bypasses the state. Use her name. Sofia won't notice. She signs anything out of guilt.
Gasps.
Murmurs. I stepped forward. That's not all, I said. My voice carried farther than I expected. Elisa emerged from the side wing.
Calm. Crisp.
Holding a folder. Inside this, she said, are 3 decades of financial manipulation, coercion, and fraud, including falsified ownerships tied to Priscilla Ortega, and funds wired offshore under Gabriel Montoya. Heads turned. Priscilla didn't flinch. She just set her champagne down and clapped.
Slow.
Deliberate.
Well played, she said.
I was wondering how long it would take you to weaponize morality. You're not denying it? No, she smiled. Because none of it matters. She turned to the crowd. Everything in that drive is circumstantial. Outdated.
Stale.
No judge will rule on it. No reporter will touch it. You think people care about truth, Sofia? They care about dividends. Then she looked right at me. But go ahead. Try to burn down the house. Just don't cry when it collapses on you.
Cut scene.
The lights dimmed. Projector shut off. Power?
No.
Sabotage. Screams.
Shouts.
Someone called for security. And then, another screen came alive. Not mine. Not Elisa's. A separate feed. A video of Gabriel. Gagged. Bloody. In a warehouse. Time-stamped 12 hours ago. A distorted voice overlaid. She chose the board. She chose the name. She chose legacy over blood. Gasps rippled. Priscilla's face broke. Just a flicker. But enough. Where is he? I asked. She didn't respond. Where is he? Priscilla raised her hand. Security closed in. I stepped back. You're not walking out with this, she said. No, I replied. I'm walking in with everything.
Cut scene.
Back hallway. Elisa shoved the flash drive into my palm. Exit plan. Not yet, I said. You're insane. That's how you survive this family. I ducked into the kitchen corridor. Pulled my phone. Raul answered. Warehouse confirmed. North Docks. Camera ping from 4:23 a.m. How many guards? Too many. I don't care. I checked the Glock he gave me. Loaded. Safety off. Raul's voice low. You sure about this? Legacy isn't worth blood. But he is. Then I whispered something I hadn't said in years. Even to myself. I'm not scared of her anymore. Tomorrow, they'll call this a scandal. Tonight, it's a rescue. Or a war. They didn't just try to erase Gabriel. They tried to erase the last person who knew what the Ortega name was built on.
Lies.
And ash. And I'm about to burn what's left. The warehouse smelled like old iron and oil. Every step echoed. I moved through rows of crates stacked like coffins. Yellow light flickered overhead. My boots stuck to something on the concrete floor. I didn't look down. Gabriel was somewhere inside. I gripped the Glock tighter. Breathing slow. Eyes scanning corners. There were 3 guards. One on the east entry, neutralized by Raul. One patrolling the mezzanine, taken out with a pipe to the knee, courtesy of Elisa. The third, still unaccounted for.
Cut scene.
I heard a cough.
Low. Hoarse.
Human. My head snapped left. There in the back, beneath a half-covered tarp. Gabriel. Tied to a chair. Blood drying on his cheek. Eyes swollen. But alive. I sprinted. Dropped to my knees. Ripped off the duct tape. Sofia. I got you, I whispered. You're not dying in this mausoleum. I pulled the knife from my boot. Cut the rope. 1 knot.
2.
Then I heard the click. Gun hammer. Behind me, Step away from him. That voice.
Priscilla.
She stood in the shadows, gun raised, white dress glowing under the warehouse lights like a specter. You brought this on yourself, she said. You think burning us down makes you a hero? I didn't speak. People like us don't go to prison, she continued. We go to fundraisers. We cut deals. We survive. You don't get to call this survival, I said. You called it legacy. But all you ever protected was a rot you helped build. I stood.
Slow.
Between her and Gabriel. You won't shoot me. I already did, she said. Just took 10 years to bleed out.
Cut scene.
Gabriel groaned behind me. Don't. I fired first. A warning shot. The bullet shattered a pipe above her. Steam burst out. She flinched. Screamed. I rushed her. Tackled her down. We fought like sisters who never shared a childhood, only war. Elbows. Nails. Fury. She reached for the gun. Too slow. I kicked it across the floor. Police sirens wailed in the distance. Raoul had made the call. Finally. Finally. Priscilla sat up, coughing blood. They'll protect me, she hissed. You think you're the first to try? You'll disappear like the rest. No, I said. Because this time, we're not whispering. We're screaming. I turned my phone. Live stream. Already rolling. Thousands watching. Every word she just said caught. Every confession. Every lie. Every threat.
Cut scene.
Outside. Police floodlights lit the bay. FBI jackets moved in like ghosts. Priscilla was cuffed. Ramona wasn't far behind, escorted out of her estate by 2 agents in silence.
They didn't resist.
Not because they were innocent, but because losing control hurt worse than handcuffs. Gabriel was taken to the hospital. No internal bleeding, just broken ribs and a ruptured silence. I stood on the dock, hands shaking.
Elisa lia cigarette bezidme.
No words, just fire. Raoul leaned on the railing, eyes to the sea. The truth isn't enough, he said. It never is. But sometimes, it's the only weapon left.
I didn't respond.
Because he was right.
Cut scene.
3 weeks later.
Courtroom.
Cold.
Clean.
I took the stand. I told the truth. About the names. The signatures. The transfers. The legacy built on fraud and fire. I watched the jury. Some leaned forward. Some looked away. But one woman nodded. That was enough.
Cut scene.
Back home. I sat on the edge of the Ortega estate steps, now surrounded by yellow tape and news vans. Someone once said you don't break free from a family like ours. You survive it. Barely. But I wasn't just surviving anymore. I was rebuilding. And this time, not on someone else's ashes. Just mine. I looked down at my phone. A new message from the state attorney's office. Case reopened. Charges approved. Then another. From Gabriel. They want to see you tomorrow. Press. Interview. It's your name now. I smiled. Not because I won, but because I didn't disappear. I had a voice. And I used it. You said to call the police.
So I did.
And I made damn sure they listened.